Hi everyone, my name is Teresa Jurgens, and thank you for joining in the author reading of the Innovation Process book. We are on episode 34. Wow, that's a lot of episodes, but if you go back to episode 0, that will explain the structure of the book, um, including parts 1, 2, and 3, which cover waterfall, staged, and gated processes. Part 2 covers Agile and Scrum. Part 3 covers WAGILE. And we are into Part 4, Lean New Product Development Processes. We have just started Chapter 19 in Episode 33, the one prior to this, talking about the overview of how Lean New Product Development tools are situated. And in this episode, we'll read through Workshop 1 Market Requirements. And if you'd like to get a copy of the book, please scan that QR code on the screen. It will take you to Amazon, and you can get a copy of the book in paperback or Kindle format. I do recommend the paperback book because there are just so many graphs and figures in here that I think it would be the best way to collect that information and to follow along as we read. So let's go ahead and get started on Workshop 1. Workshop 1, Market Requirements. As part of the investigate phase of Lean New Product Development, the team is identifying innovation opportunities. Following the first management review, the new product project has been chartered, and the team will identify concepts and a preliminary business case for the product. Much of this work is exploratory in nature and is focused closely on determining customer needs alongside how the company can deliver a product with value to both parties. In the Market Requirements Workshop, market needs are translated to high-level design requirements, while the fundamental components of a successful business case are identified. Notice that some data and information are prepared and summarized in advance of the workshop. Each participant will bring data from their specialized function to share. Typically, the chief engineer and program manager communicate in advance of the workshop to clarify who is responsible for what data. The time and effort for the workshop is clearly delineated so that each active participant is ready for the working session. A simple agenda is described below. Inputs and outputs to consider for the session are illustrated in figure 19-3 on the screen. Recall that the Lean New Product Development team members are the key audience for the workshop, limited to 6 to 10 participants. Managers who are not directly working on tasks to create the new product or its associated manufacturing process are not included in the workshop. Some sessions, like Workshop 1, conclude with a management debrief to engage managers. However, the bulk of the workshop is invested in team decisions for the new product, which fall within the agreed upon project constraints. Outputs of the Lean New Product Development workshops are working documents for the team, such as a design brief, risk matrix, and issues log. Prior to Workshop 1, unique to the first Lean New Product Development workshop, a management review is conducted for the project just before the workshop, a time period of days, not weeks. The management review session includes senior executives working with the chief engineer and product champion to define the next highest priority project. Product portfolio management scores and resource allocation for new product development projects determine the next up innovation project. The chief engineer collaborates with management to determine the scope of work for the new product and defines the project constraints as shown previously in figure 13-3. In most cases, the chief engineer will select individual team members for the new product development project at this point. Lean New Product Development supports a process of people volunteering for a project to capitalize on their passions. Core team members should be committed full-time to the project, but at no more than 80% time allocation. However, the product champion may suggest specific people to assign to the project for career progression or with certain subject matter expertise. Early allocation of resources is critical to the success of a Lean New Product Development project so that people are available to work on the project as soon as possible. Waiting until a bookkeeping code has been set up is too late. to assign project resources. During the preparation for Workshop 1, the Chief Engineer also identifies and secures the team rooms where the project will be carried out. Sometimes this is called a war room, and in traditional lean manufacturing terminology, the common room is called the obeya. Kanban and Scrum boards adorn the walls of the common room, and core team members are assigned to this work location for the duration of the project. A shared space facilitates cross-functional discussions necessary for an innovation project. Workshop 1 participants. It is important to limit the number of participants in the Lean New Product Development Workshop to those who are participating and contributing to the technical decisions of the project. Moreover, smaller groups can make decisions more quickly than larger ones. In Chapter 21, we describe a situation in which the workshop was held virtually and open to a very large group of personnel. This led to a lack of decisions, and the project leaders were forced to hold several follow-up meetings to try to converge on solutions. Extra meetings introduce churn and defeat the purpose of working in lean new product development. Participants in the Market Requirements Workshop should include those knowledgeable about the market, technology, product, and competitors. With the purpose of the workshop to construct a prioritized feature list for the new product, participants will need to become familiar with consumer needs, market size, and estimated manufacturing costs. Using the business model canvas, as shown previously in Figure 4-2, to document the business case, participants must understand the value that the new product will deliver to customers as well as the firm. In addition to the chief engineer, program manager, and facilitator, participants for the first Lean New Product Development Workshop may include the following: inbound marketing, industrial design, R&D or front-end engineering, supply chain, manufacturing, finance, project-specific subject matter experts or SMEs. Remember, it is important to keep the group small enough so that the workshop is an active working session and that the core team can make crucial product decisions. The chief engineer will serve as a tiebreaker on any decisions during the session, while the program manager will document follow-ups and action items. Project-specific SMEs might include safety, reliability, or environmental specialists depending upon the scope of the project. Sometimes outbound marketing and participants from legal or regulatory are also included at this phase. An example agenda for Workshop 1 is shown in Figure 19-4 on the screen. Depending on the scale of new product development effort, the workshop is expected to last from a half day to a full day. A Lean New Product Development Workshop is an intense and dedicated working session. Functional managers must commit any requested resources fully for the workshop. For maximum effectiveness, facilitators will demand that cell phones and laptops are not used unless necessary to share data for the purpose of accessing working documents for the workshop. In the sample client agenda shown in Figure 19-4, a short amount of time was scheduled for a management debrief. When Lean New Product Development is the standard for product and process development, senior managers and executives may forego this information sharing time. The Kanban and Scrum boards, along with the previously agreed upon project constraints, serve as a primary communication tools. However, some organizations gain an added element of comfort from the face-to-face communications as a project moves along in the development process. Thus, a half-hour management debrief may be included in the agenda. A management debrief may be also added to Workshop 1 if the product or manufacturing process is novel or especially complex. Tools for market requirements. Figure 19-1 illustrated a handful of useful tools to aid in creating the design brief, prioritized feature list, and draft business case for the new product. These include competitive analysis, a simplified QFD matrix, and feature prioritization. Understanding the depth and breadth of these activities supports the cross-functional participation of core team members and subject matter experts in the workshop. Competitive analysis. Lean new product development emphasizes exploitation over exploration in comparison to other agile or hybrid project management processes. In manufacturing, principles of lean stress steady flow and high quality. To maintain or grow market share, new products must support the firm's overall strategic objectives and not be overly pressured by competitors. As indicated in Chapter 12, the BCG matrix is an excellent tool to assess competition. Understanding both direct and indirect competitors can help the lean new product development team develop a better, longer-lasting product. On the other hand, if there is a short-term market opportunity for which the company is uniquely positioned, information from the BCG matrix can help the team make cost trade-off decisions for manufacturing versus product quality. We advise having individuals work on the BCG matrix independently and then pool their information during the workshop. This results in a very rich conversation revealing many different perspectives for the product development effort. Simplified QFD. QFD is an acronym for Quality Functional Deployment. In the fully deployed mode, QFD is a complicated tool requiring specially trained facilitators. See Chapter 2 of the Innovation Answer book, a companion to this book, for information on QFD. In the spirit of streamlining processes for lean new product development, we recommend a simplified QFD exercise. Again, the exercise is conducted during the market requirements workshop to enhance collaboration and exchange knowledge among the various functional representatives. Generating a conventional QFD involves sophisticated analysis and comparison of customer requirements, technical requirements, engineering relationships, technical correlations, target product and technical specifications, and gap determinations between desired and available capabilities. While all of this data and information can be important to a product development effort, the critical elements are matching customer requirements, wants, to manufacturing capabilities, how. The simplified QFD serves to quickly assess what features are most important to the potential customer base and whether or not the firm can manufacture them. An example of a simplified QFD is shown here in Figure 19-5. The simplified QFD matrix is built using different colored sticky notes to represent the features desired by customers. The light gray row labels in the figure, and the corresponding engineering requirements, the dark gray column labels in the figure. In each case, the target specification is indicated. For example, customers have indicated that they want a vehicle to accelerate from 0 to 60 within 60 seconds. Acceleration is the feature, while 0 to 60 miles per hour is listed as the target level on a sticky note to the right of the feature. The engineering requirement and target design specification for this feature is known, but proprietary in our example. A sticky note of another color is placed at the intersection of these two elements and labeled with an X to indicate that the design can proceed. In another example, potential end users have indicated that they want a car that is fun to drive. The team at this point has not yet identified a target level to define fun to drive. An engineering specification for a 7-speed manual transmission is suggested as a target to meet the feature requirement. However, since data is not available to verify the want versus how for the new product, a sticky note of another color, shown in black in Figure 19-5, is placed at the intersection of these values with a question mark. This means that additional learning and testing is necessary to validate the feature and design specifications at the target level. During the market requirements workshop, the features should be listed in priority order as much as possible. Using sticky notes allows the facilitator and team members to adjust items as the session proceeds. A facilitator may use the simplified QFD exercise in parallel with feature prioritization to ensure that all angles for the product are considered. Feature prioritization. In Chapter 14, we discussed some design thinking techniques for the new product development team to learn customer problems and build empathy for the end user. Most of these methods involve some form of open-ended questioning or observation, leading to many different opportunities to address customer needs. Further divergent thinking can create long lists of possible product features. Affinity diagrams can help to collate similar ideas into convergent themes. Yet in innovation, there are always more ideas than time and money to convert them into new products. Every new product project must generate a list of features that will be designed and built into an MVP, minimal viable product, the first release, the next generation product, and so on. Feature prioritization is a tool used in conjunction with the simplified QFD to rank the highest value attributes. These attributes bring the most benefit to the customer and deliver the most income or profit to the firm. Figure 19-6 shows a feature prioritization matrix for an example new product. In the example, a company was developing next generation wireless headsets. The new product development team had identified several features by interviewing existing customers and then grouping the ideas using an affinity diagram. Customers were interested in the following product attributes: A, cordless and rechargeable; B, compact; C, low noise distortion; D, generates white noise; E, adjustable microphone. The firm also used a BCG matrix to determine competitive offerings and opportunities for market growth. Figure 19-6 shows the results of the feature prioritization exercise. For example, feature A, cordless and rechargeable headset, is very important in delivering customer value. In addition, this was a differentiating feature in the marketplace, which would give the firm a competitive advantage. Thus, feature A is shown on the feature prioritization matrix in the upper right-hand corner with high user value and high business value. Of course, this feature is the #1 priority for the new product. During the market requirements workshop, participants will share data and information to determine whether features B, C, and E should be included in the product. These are trade-off decisions based on whether the technology exists, what features are included in existing products, competitive assessment, and necessary time to market. Feature D is not investigated any further since it is not expected to deliver user or business value. Results of the feature prioritization exercise are coupled with the simplified QFD to set the targets for each ranked feature that is selected for the development project. In this example, the simplified QFD would show that the customer need is rechargeable with a target level of 2 hours until battery drain, and the corresponding engineering specification would describe the battery type and size, if known. Thank you for sticking through Workshop 1, Market Requirements. In the next episode, we will continue Chapter 19 with Workshop 2, looking at the Planning and Risk Mitigation Workshop. Again, get your copy of the Innovation Process Book by scanning that square QR code available at Amazon. Join the class starting August 12, 2025 with the QR code in the circle, and I look forward to seeing you next time.